I'll just quick introduce myself. I'm Jesper, also from the Confederation of Danish Industries. And as Bente mentioned, we have an office here in Chennai, which I'm heading. And I think we have an even better group of panelists here, because not only do we have some very distinguished companies representing in this session, from Danfoss, Grundfos, Seabrain, we also have the non-profit organization from the Indo-Danish Chamber of Commerce, and also from the academic side with Dr. Nihil from the Energy Consortium. So we will stick to the same format as that was included in the first session and ask what you guys think are the biggest challenges. And I think we will start out with maybe from Usha, if you could start out from your side and give a short introduction maybe to yourself and your company.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Usha Subramaniam, and I represent Grundfos. We are the world's leading advanced pumping solutions company. And in this whole context of the discussion that we've been having, of course, I will speak a little bit into the topic that is at the center of everything to do with sustainability, and that is water. We are a water company, and water is one of those things which have a remarkable impact at many levels on many ways that you see when it comes to energy efficiency, sustainability, the whole discussion at large. But on a broader level, to answer your question, of course, the awareness of the importance of addressing water and the urgency of it is not quite known, because it is estimated that by the year 2030, demand for fresh water will exceed 40% of supply, meaning for every 100 cubic meters of water, there will not be enough to sustain the entire population that is on the planet. And that means that there is very urgent action, meaningful action needed already today. And what my company does, of course, is to work with some of these challenges, and the challenges are wide. So if you look at something very simple as water supply, leakages in water supply in the way that the water supply systems are set causes roughly about 9 million cubic meters loss every single day. And to put it into context, that's enough water for 20 million people. And this is unseen, so the impact of something like this is not very present and very felt by everybody. So that's one challenge. And then the other challenge could be, wherever water is used in an application, so cooling systems, the air conditioning in the building that we are in today, and urbanization is tremendously on the rise. So, what kind of energy efficient systems do we have? For example, always there is high pressure that's set, that's how systems are designed. Whereas we try and work with something called demand-driven distribution, where it is, where we can, using insights and using data, we can regulate the pressure of water. So on a larger level, I would say challenges relating to the awareness of the importance or the urgency of addressing water, and of course, the extent of how much technology can help. The adoption of that would be two big ones.
Okay, thanks a lot, Usha, and I will hand it over to Anju, perhaps. Yes, and again, Anju, what do you think is the main challenges from your side moving into a more clean, resilient, and prosperous energy system? If you could expound a little bit on that, and also explain what is your organization doing to solve this.
Thank you so much, Jesper. So, in Tamil and English, there is a saying, well begun is half done. Nandraga ஆரம்பித்தது பாதி நன்றாக முடிந்தது மாதிரி. So, on that note, Danfoss has been operating in India right from the 1960s as a sales organization. And for the last 25 years, we have been manufacturing in India, especially Tamil Nadu. And the fact that we continue to invest and grow as a climate and energy major underlines the importance of sustainable solutions for India and the world's growth. So we are a climate and energy solutions major, focusing primarily on areas like food supply, infrastructure, urbanization, climate, energy, and many more other sectors. And if you ask me, one of the largest challenges which we see is actually the lack of awareness. So the simple example would be for it is estimated that India's energy demand will peak by 2045, and currently as Usha said, the demand for air conditioning is going to increase 10x by 2030. And to meet India's carbon neutrality goal by 2070, or to meet Tamil Nadu's carbon neutrality agenda by 2045, swift action is required. And here, the lack of awareness is clearly a challenge, because of which the demand is low, because of which the cost is high, because of which skill and capacity building, though it is happening at various levels, it is not to the scale at which it is required. So, which all kind of brings down to, and there is also a push for Make in India, which actually requires that we develop the right kind of ecosystem available so that companies can actually localize much more and make in India. So, for the same, so on the whole, if we actually look at it, so it is an interlinked problem, right? From awareness to demand to cost to developing the ecosystem. And here, companies like Danfoss, what we are working on is creating the right kind of ecosystem through thought leadership and several other initiatives. For example, Danfoss is one of the very first companies in India to have a LEED Platinum constructed manufacturing campus, 50 acres of constructed manufacturing campus. It is also one of the first. It is one of the leading companies to have a LEED Zero Water certification. So this kind of touches upon the need for making use of the sustainable solutions available in the market today. So to give an example, currently our campus in Nordborg became carbon neutral as on December 2022. And the same kind of solutions are available in the market in India as well today. And our campus in Chennai is about 90% carbon neutral as of now. And this was possible for us through a very, very simple mantra called reduce, reuse, and resource. Reduce the resource consumption, be it energy, be it water, reduce the consumption. The next one is reuse wherever possible, using solutions like waste heat recovery. We have actually been able to cut down our energy consumption while we are increasing our productivity. So decoupling energy and production, that's the second one. And last but not the least, resource. Use renewable sources of energy wherever possible. And in case you do not have the same, at least resource through power purchase agreements. So this is something which we have done. And to just add on, through simple solutions, through IoT-based digital solutions which are available. A simple example is our water consumption in our campus, which was around 120 kiloliters per person per day. We were able to bring it down to around 45 kiloliters per person per day through IoT-based monitoring and related solutions. And this, as well as we have a solar power plant in our campus, and then we found out the energy produced during Saturday and Sunday is going waste. And Soren was kind enough to come to our campus and inaugurate India's first privately held energy storage system, which now helps that we harness the power of the solar energy and use it for peak loads as well as night shifts. So not to add on further, so it's a few simple solutions like this. All the solutions which India needs is ready and available at the moment. So it is up to us to kind of connect all the ecosystem and get action moving. And when I was seeing Mr. Nikhil, I just remembered another thing. So all stakeholders coming together, it is also important that industry and academia come together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And you talked briefly about digitizations, and I think that's a perfect bridge to hand over the mic to Nils, who is very much into digitization. So maybe Nils, you give a short introduction and an answer to what you see are the main challenges, and what is Seabrain doing to solve these.
Yes, so I represent Seabrain, which is a Danish GovTech company. And what we heard today is that I think that the technology is there in the world to do the green transition. The capital is also there to do the green transition. But what we need is probably legislation or policies that are being executed or implemented. So whenever we have 10 large-scale energy projects in the world, they all have the capital there, they all have the technology there, but 8 out of 10 are waiting to be permitted. So the challenge is that governments, they need to implement their policies. So in general, it takes up to 8 to 10 years to actually go through a fully permitting process of creating a new renewable project. And with technology, and we talk about also yesterday and today, bureaucracy. And I say bureaucracy is actually a good word. Bureaucratic is a bad word. So we need to create the smart digital bureaucracy. And through digitalization, we can actually create workflows and public sector administrations that work smarter, and also thereby closing the time gap from a political decision is taken to it's executed in the market. So when we come from Denmark, it's number 1 in e-governance. India is number 102 when it comes to the global UN e-governance survey. So even though you have a lot of technologies, you have a lot of capital, you have a lot of software engineers, you still have a very analog and paper-based public sector.
In the years ahead, if there is not made a transition of the subsidies in the agriculture and rural sector, this demand for water and for energy is just going to go to the sky. And therefore, there is a very, very big such possibility for promoting energy efficiency and water management in India if the free power and free water is transformed into a subsidy on the output of what is produced from the agricultural sector in India. So that's my bold proposition today, that there is a vision for transforming the subsidy sector or subsidies to the agricultural and rural sector into the supply side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Søren. And Dr. Nihil, if you could take the baton and the mic from Søren. We're very much interested to hear from the academic side, your perspective on the challenges you see, and what do you do to address it?
Thank you very much. So I am Nikhil Tambe. I run and represent an energy consortium at IIT Madras, a few kilometers from over here. The idea of the energy consortium was to take on grand challenges in energy, the ones that we are facing today. Most of them we have been discussing in the first panel and this one. And the idea was, can we focus specifically on taking technologies which are already at proof of concept, take them to a pilot level and make sure that we are able to accelerate these technologies into productization. Some of these could be services. Basically try and make sure that these are all commercially viable options as fast as we can do this. Since this is something that can't be done by an academia alone, this is energy consortium by nature is a industry, academia, government collaborative. Anju invoked it. So we work very collaboratively with industries which are currently working across sectors. These are oil and gas companies. These are companies working in hard to abate sectors such as steel, refineries, cement, as well as companies which are working on the digitalization side. So companies like Infosys, for example, are part of the mix who are working with us. And the idea is because all of these are part of the puzzle, which is decarbonization and net zero. Each one has their own goals set for this. So as a consortium, can we bring these under an umbrella and help fund research programs, which we do, which will help bring clarity faster on, how can we really get towards decarbonization and not
different parameters can be taught to that model, combining that with the legislation, and suddenly we have a high-speed engine that can help us in the pre-screening of this permitting and decision-making that I think government needs to take to bring the green transition forward. So in this green digital nexus, I think AI is going to help governments a lot to actually fast-forward decision-making on the green transition.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And of course, since we're from Denmark, I think maybe Anju, you represent Danfoss. You've been in India for 25 years. What in your mind? What should Danish companies coming to India be mindful of in this green transition playing field? Could you elaborate shortly about that? Because I think we are running a bit out of time.
Okay, in a single word, I would request all Danish companies to see the current challenges as opportunities. And right now, given the green strategic partnership between Denmark and India, because Denmark is the only country with which India has a green strategic partnership, and Denmark will become carbon neutral by 2030. And so the Danish technologies matched with India's scale can pave the way for accelerating India's green transition. And I would request all the companies to make use of this opportunity and go bullish on India. We at Danfoss, we are going bullish on India, and we continue to invest and grow. Even tomorrow, we are announcing an MOU. So there is the market is ripe. Go for it.
There's a bit of a cliffhanger there. That sounds good. Looking at you, Eske, are we on time, or can we open the floor for some questions? Yeah, I think according to schedule, we should have had the US delegation in here by now, but we can keep on talking. Any questions from the audience? It doesn't seem so, but then that gives us an opportunity for having our panelists come up with a very short, brief call to actions they would like to see. And since you're having the mic, we could start with you.
My call for action would be to reduce, reuse, and resource for carbon neutral India. Thank you.
Thanks. And can you pass it on to Niels, the mic on your right?
Yeah, we used to talk about education, but now I think we need to talk about implementation.
That's a good one. Usha, from your side.
Yeah, I think meaningful partnerships, extremely positive, cannot happen unless we find a different way of partnering, whether that's industry, academia, whether that's government, whether that's policy formulation. So agility in partnerships and the way we make decisions.
Perfect. And from your side, Nikhil?
I think it's obviously it's collaboration, and more specifically, I'll say outcome-oriented collaboration. So we don't collaborate only for sake of making it an activity or a one-time event, but look forward to common objectives and common outcomes. So collaboration is my call for action in a way that we have never done it before.
Good. And you, Søren?
Yeah, and my final comment would be to recommend everyone who has not joined IDCC to come and take part in the community of Indian and Danish leading companies within the green transition, and through that collaborate and develop into a position where we can really make a voice and then promote the big agendas, including the issue of providing free water and electricity to large parts of the Indian economy, which doesn't really promote efficiency.
That's good. So collaboration, implementation, there were certainly some good keywords that I took from this session. So thank you all.